This idea that Americans are now disowning their own past, it's not just an example of ingratitude. It's very vicious because what we're saying to a pre-modern generation, we don't care about the physical ordeals that you put up with in an age without antibiotics or modern medicine or eyeglasses. We don't care whether you died on Iwo Jima or you fought at Belleau Wood. We don't care whether you were blown apart at Antietam. We feel that we are your moral superiors, and we're going to remake America in our own image in a much more sophisticated and advanced era than yours. And we're going to cut off our own past and start again at year zero. Is this unique to America? I wish it was, because it wouldn't be so scary, but we have precedents for it. Remember what the French revolutionaries did in 1793 during the so-called Reign of Terror. They said, we're going to make revolutionary France into something never anticipated by the revolutionaries that threw out the Bourbons. They wanted a constitutional monarchy. They said, we're going to make a holistic revolution, not just political, but it's going to change the way we think. We're going to destroy religion. We're going to destroy the sanctuaries of religion, the monasteries, the churches. We're going to kill nuns. We're going to topple statues. And we're going to rename the year zero. And we're going to rename the days of the week. Sort of like saying 1776 is not our foundational date. It's 1619. Sort of saying Thanksgiving and Christmas are racist or sexist holidays that we don't have to celebrate anymore. We see the same thing again during the Cultural Revolution with Mao in the 1960s. He said, we betrayed the Communist Revolution of 1947-48, and we're going to go after people with eyeglasses. Any evidence of foreign contamination, any professor, anybody that has an accent that doesn't sound right, anybody that's too educated, we're going to send them out in the fields and make them work like peasants, and we're going to start all over. Bolsheviks in Russia in 1917 and 1918 said, this is not a political revolution. We do not like the Kerenskyites. We do not like the socialists because they're not totalitarian. They don't envision a totalitarian revolution. Ours is. We're going to start calling people comrade. We're going to all dress alike. We're not going to have any distinguishing titles. We're going to get rid of the Russian Orthodox Church. So anytime a revolution starts to tamper with dates, with reference points, it starts to topple statues. There's a word for that. It's called iconoclastism. An iconoclast is just not a weirdo. He's somebody that destroys icons. At the height of this madness, to finish with an anecdote from my own field of classics, the frenzy got so heated that there were classical scholars and ancient historians that wrote articles along the lines, let me help you statue topplers. As someone who works in a museum, I can tell you that when you throw paint on a statue to deface it, it's not nearly as effective as an acidic compound that I use. Here's some examples. Or, because I have removed obelisk and museum restoration, when I watch you tear down statues with ropes, it would be much more efficient if you had iron cables or steel cables or chains. We had people from all walks of life, whether they worried about their own position, they wanted to advance their careers, but whatever the reason, they weighed in and they became part of the proverbial mob. And there was no way to use logic or reason to stop them when these mob frenzies. So when you have these woke revolutions, as we're experiencing recently, it requires all of us, according to our station, at some point to say, no, not going to do this. We're not going to let Senator McCarthy dictate our lives. We're not going to let a bunch of crackpot jurists and local townsmen start killing witches, so-called witches, and save them. We're not going, if we're Frenchmen and we don't like the Bourbon kings, we're not going to let the Jacobins create a guillotine and start beheading people they disagree with. And if we don't do that, and sometimes we don't, then we end up with people like Lenin and Mao in control of our lives for a long, long time.